Matt Lauer has been spotted still wearing his wedding ring as he finally ventured out of his Hamptons compound to do the school run on Monday. The disgraced former talk show host has been staying at his private Sag Harbor home, in Long Island, since he was fired from the Today Show last week over sexual misconduct claims. On Monday, he was seen behind the wheel of his gray Jeep Wrangler, taking his 11-year-old son, Tace, to school. Page 6 reports that Lauer illegally spoke on his cell phone while his son was in the car. The married 59-year-old stopped off at a gated property in nearby North Haven to pick up a friend of his son's, and as he reached out to press the intercom, he flashed his gold wedding band. Lauer later dropped them off at Sag Harbor Elementary School. He may still be wearing his ring, but sources say his marriage to Annette Roque has been on the rocks for years and they have even been living separately. The Dutch-born former model is reported to have fled their Hamptons home on Wednesday, just 24 hours after Lauer was fired, and flown to see her family in her native Amsterdam, a source told Page 6. Lauer was fired last Tuesday as host of NBC's flagship morning show after over 20 years as co-anchor. The dismissal came as a result of sexual harassment complaints from an NBC employee. Last week, his former co-hosts were forced to break the news of his dismissal on the show. However, this morning's Today Show made no mention was made of the scandal. Since news of Lauer's firing, at least 7 other women have come forward with allegations of sexual misconduct. While much of the country was shocked by the news given Lauer's squeaky clean image as a wholesome good guy, those who knew the couple say that he was a bad husband. Lauer's alleged history of infidelity reportedly forced his wife to keep close tabs on him when he took trips abroad because she didn't trust him. When Roque sought to divorce Lauer years ago, Lauer reportedly offered her $5 million in cash to remain in the marriage. The image-conscious Lauer made the cash offer because he was reportedly so concerned about how a divorce might be perceived by his audience. Lauer and Roque met on a blind date in 1997, the same year he took over as co-anchor of Today in place of the departing Bryant Gumbel. While Lauer rose to television stardom with his Today Show gig, Roque has been featured in Victoria's Secret catalogs as well as in advertisements for J.Crew. According to Page 6, Lauer, who had a reputation as a philanderer, was urged to settle down and get married by NBC executives who were concerned that his Playboy image would hurt the Today Show given its heavily female viewership. Lauer and Roque were married less than a year after they met, but it was reportedly a tumultuous union, 3 years after the birth of their first child, Jack. In 2003, Lauer and Roque separated after the newsman returned from covering the Winter Olympics in Turin, Italy. Rumors swirled that Lauer was having an affair with Natalie Morales, who was then a correspondent for the Today Show. Both have vehemently denied the rumors. Nonetheless, Roque, who was 7 months pregnant at the time, filed for divorce from Lauer, whom she accused of cruel and inhumane treatment and extremely controlling behavior. Defendant has continuously and repeatedly given higher priority to personal interests than his family obligations to plaintiff, causing plaintiff to feel abandoned, isolated and alone in raising the party's children, according to court papers, which were leaked in 2014. Roque would eventually withdraw her petition for divorce 3 weeks before giving birth to the couple's second child, Tace. There was no explanation given for why Roque had second thoughts about the divorce, though it was reported that Lauer offered her $5 million to remain in the marriage. Matt needed to stay in the marriage to keep his reputation as America's nicest dad, according to a source quoted by Page 6. He is in fact a very doting dad to his kids, but he is also a terrible husband. Things appeared to be fine, until Lauer returned from covering the Olympics in Vancouver in early 2010. After news reports emerged suggesting that Lauer partied hard in Canada, Roque reportedly was so angry that she and her husband began living separately. Since 2011, Roque and her 3 children were reportedly living in their home in Sag Harbor, while Lauer stayed in Manhattan during the week. The Upper East Side apartment at 133 East 64th Street was also the address of Bernie Madoff, the infamous Ponzi schemer. On weekends, Lauer would reportedly make the trip to Long Island to join him. They play happy families at their Hamptons home on weekends, and then she lets him run off to New York to do Today, and goodness knows what else, Radar Online quoted one source as saying. Despite her celebrity status,